and we're back for another episode. In this episode, I'm going to be doing the level 15 Rogue quest. So I'm back here at the Rogues Guild here in Limsa, Lominsa, and you have to talk to the doorman to let you in. And because some time has passed since patch 2.4 came out, you can now see this room is completely empty, whereas the last time I did a quest here, there was like 1,000 people here. And at level 15, I'm wearing the lightning outfit that I got from the lightning strike events. I've got some random leather items that I crafted, some random accessories that I crafted. Nothing over the top, but at least I've got plus dexterity in pretty much every single slot. And I also crafted these level 15 arms, these brass knives. So I just keep my gear up to date, which is always useful. So anyway, let's talk to Jacke. So the quest is called Stifled Screams, and I'll learn the ability Throwing Dagger. So it says delivers a ranged attack with a potency of 120. That's not bad. And Jacke wishes to bring you in on a tricky assignment. So, Mithrie, just the more I was hoping to see. We've some nasty trouble brewing. The client's on his way, so sit tight and pay attention. I'm calling Underfoot, and the stray is on his way as well. I'll be a right little rogue. Sorry, it'll be a right little family rogue reunion. So, Jacke, the client's arrived. Do you like their outfits? I think they're pretty cool. So, our guest here has come from Maelstrom Command with confidential orders direct from the Admiral herself. So, you know, this won't be a simple job. I'm afraid your guildmaster speaks truly. 'Twas several days ago when an emaciated man stumbled into one of our camps seeking aid. Upon questioning the poor fellow, we've discovered that we had narrowly escaped a life of slavery. He claimed that pirates had raided his village, abducting him and many others to sell on a black market auction block. We've dispatched a patrol to confirm the tale, and found the village almost completely destroyed. 'Twas a meagre settlement without so much as a guardhouse. Thus did its unkind fate escape our notice until now. You'd think these pirates never even heard of the code. Pillaging honest coals and dipping their wicks in the slave trade, they're headed the right way for a good stabbing. Aye, though it ain't set down in so many words, the code's notoriously unforgiving against those as raise weapons against the weak. After all, the first pirates in these parts were coals, what was fleeing oppression in the northern seas. Ignore your history and you risk becoming what it was ye hated most. So, you've a mark for us then? That we do. From the description given to us by the escaped villager, we've determined that these lawbreakers are members of the Jolly Merchants, a pirate crew in possession of an official pirateering license. It would appear, however, that privateering has been naught but a screen behind which they hide their illicit activities. One can only imagine how many other Limsan citizens have fallen prey to these wicked slavers. And we've let it happen right under our very noses. Naturally, the Admiral desires a swift resolution to this ignominy, but merely tracking down those poor souls who have already been sold is proving heavily taxing to our allocated resources. We could throw more soldiers at the problem, but that runs the risk of drawing the small folks' attention and inciting undue panic. Thus, we do come to the Rogues Guild for help. We ask that you eliminate the Jolly Merchants and liberate the villagers presently in their custody, and that you do so with the utmost discretion. Consider it done. When those nasty coves will feel our short blades pricking into their backs, they'll enjoy but a brief moment of regret before the code is rightly enforced. Alright, let's get to work. I'll be going after the jolly merchants myself. Underfoot, V-Cube, you two lend your skills to Maelstrom's investigation and see what you can whittle about the coals, what have already been sold. Mithrie, you're coming with me. I think you're ready for the next step of your education. Her rocking her cactus earrings. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let's talk to Jacke. So, shall we get after these shaven cutthroats then? Our client tells me that the jolly merchantman set sail from Aleport a few bells ago. And alright, they might even board an Imperial ship or two, but that's just some murmury they're putting on amuse the Admiral Swads. Swads or Swads? I reckon the rest of the crew would be back on land looking to snap the shackles on a fresh herd of O'Shattle. Okay. And just to prove the theory right, and one of them jolly bastards got himself spotted creeping about the roughmans in Lower Noscea. There's a bean cove over at the Mulberry Dry Docks by the name of Swanian, who will likely know the full story. He's more of a shipwright than a rogue these days, but he keeps his glazes keen for the guild. Head over and have yourself a prattle, and I'll join you soon like. Yeah, it's very difficult reading out Limsa text, it really is. So anyway, we need to go to some Mulberry Dry Docks, which is in Lower Noscea, and thankfully we can teleport right there, so let's go. So this is the reason I keep just all these different sets of armor, because you just never know when it might be useful. So right now, the lightning set is one of the best sets you can wear at level 15, so... I could have crafted a whole bunch of boring leather gear, but like I say, it's just... this is more interesting. Okay, here he is. He says, I know what you are. What can old Swison do for you? Hunting down jolly merchant slavers? Well, that explains a few things. I was keeping an eye on the bustle about the dry docks, you see, when I spied an odd trio off it in the distance. Thus, rough-looking sod, one of your pirates, I'd wager, was prodding along another bloke and his poor skinny lass. I've seen whip curs less miserable than the two being herded. Last I saw, they were headed south. If what you're saying about this slavery business is true, then that jolly merchant is not going to walk his charges all the way to the market. No, he is likely has a boat waiting for him. And if I were a slaver headed south, my vessel would be hidden somewhere along the salt strand. That doesn't leave you much time. You said Jacke was on his way, yes? You'd best go on ahead, and I'll point him in the right direction when he gets or gets here, I should say. Anyway, let's go. So where are we going? Oh, we have to go over there. Okay. So I'm still practicing my rotation for Rogue as well. I'm always trying to find out what is the best thing for each level range. What I have so far, given I've got so few buttons, is basically just open with Mutilate because it's damage over time, and then just keep doing my spinning edge gust slash combo. And then if I need to heal, I can do second wind. I've got potions. And then once you get to 20% or less, then you hit assassinate. So far so good, and I've got like a whole bunch of poisoning potions which will be good up to level 35 just to assist with damage on bigger targets. Ah, there it is. Sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, continuing on. Had AFK for a while. It says Swinark came through for us, eh? Now, what do we got here? This one looks a charmer. Sodden move, I told you. Me pig-leg grandma obbles quicker than you miserable sacks of shite. Or maybe you need another thrashing, is that it? You already forgot what happens when you try and give me generous patience? I'm sorry, please, no more beatings. We walked as fast as we could, but we need food, water. Then get in the boat and shut your traps. You'll get fed when we reach the other side. The other side? Where are you taking us? Are you challenging me, or just plain daft? I told you to keep your bleating mouth shut. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Leviathan's scaly arse, she's weeping again. Listen, we're headed to Aleport, alright? That's where me shipmates gather to take stock of the merchandise and decide what gets sold where. You see, some buyers want only lads, while others is looking for lasses. As long as we keep these rich bastards happy, we make more coin than we ever did scraping the Empire's war galleys. Not that you care about that, I suppose. What matters to you is that you'll be loaded onto the jolly merchantman, sailed off to God knows where, and Limsa will be a distant memory. So if I was you, I'd fill that empty belly with one last big gulpful of sweet Noscea sea breeze. I'm so tempted to put a blade between his eyes, here and now, but that won't get the job done. No, we'll let him guide us to his mates in Aleport, then we'll mill the whole bloody lot of them. The jolly merchant will get their due, don't worry about that. They've gone. We best hurry to Aleport, unless you've a quicker way. There's a ferry what leaves the Candlekeep Quay. I'll meet you across the water, lass. Okay, so when he says Candlekeep Quay, he means right here. So what you can do, rather than just teleporting, is you can come right here to this port and you can take the boat straight there. So might as well, why not? We haven't had an excuse to use this port for so long, so I might as well use it. Let's talk to the ferry skipper. Aleport for 40 gil, yep. Much cheaper than teleporting. Okay, here is Jacke. So, Mithrie, that jolly merchant's co is still with his captives. Seems they've taken a room under an alias. Hiding the operation in plain sight. Bold as brass, aye, but it's old slaver's trick. See, even if some co recognize there's a merchandise, only a single handler gets boned. The rest of the crew just whistles all innocent like while their mate is marched off to cry cockles. And you bet they've threatened bloody murder for any prisoner what raises a hue and cry. Patience now, lass. We'll just wait until we're sure that all these blackguards arrived. Meanwhile, you'd better sharpen your stabbers. We have a busy night ahead of us. Cool. So this one is now a fight. So it says, duty calls commence battle for Stifled Screams. So that ought to be long enough. We'll just have to hope there ain't any stragglers. Listen closely now, lass. The merchant will disguise as plain old venturers and have settled themselves in 3 separate rooms here in Airport. How do we whittle which covers are the merchants? Easy. Take a look at the daddles at Bingo swilling coal over yonder. He's wearing lavender gloves, the exact same type what the nasty sod at Saltstrand had on. That'll be how they find each other in a crowd. Of course, it's also how I whittle where each of the bastards were staying. Just snitchel the hopeless glaze of the company they keep, and you can be sure you found your mark. So here's the job all laid out for you. We hit all 3 common rooms, mill the merchants quick and dirty like, and get those captives bleeding lies back, alright? Oi, the storeroom's door's been forced open. Some thieving sod's been at that ale. Well, they can't have gotten far. Better get the lads and sweep the port. Ugh, was that Merchant's Co's gulping pilfered ale? You'd think they'd be doing their best not to draw attention to themselves, all things considered. Bloody oafs. And now we've got a swarm of yellowjackets buzzing about, looking for blood. If they spot us wandering around in Darkman's, I have a feeling they'll axe first and ask questions later. It'd be best then if patrols never even knew we was here. We'll sip as sneaky as we can into each of the common rooms and use them telltale lavender gloves to identify our marks. There innocent coals in there as well, mind, so let's try not to stab any as don't deserve it, eh? Once you're sure of your target, hit 'em hard and fast. We ain't looking for a fair fight. If you see an opening, finish 'em off with that move what Colts like to call assassinate. Bit dramatic for my taste, but but dead is dead no matter what you name it. I'm thinking we should head out one at a time to better avoid them yellow jackets. So I'll let you take the lead. After you, Mithrie. Okay, so what we can do is we can hide. Let's stealth around. Just to avoid all these yellow jackets. Okay, so let's go this way. So it's surprisingly hard. Okay, so that's one. Okay, here's another. Cool. Number 2. So 2 to go. Because they have the red symbol next to their name, it means that they will attack on sight. Awesome. So let's now free the other 2. These sort of battles that you just assist the main target, that you don't get all of them to attack you. Well, that was easy. So, not a bad night's work, eh, Mithrie? The maelstrom will be taking care of them poor culls we freed, and I've made sure none of the merchants we downed are like to get up again. As for the jolly merchantman, well, her crew can expect a visit from the Admiral's finest galleys, and it won't be for tea and crumpets on the poop deck. Right, me natty lass, our part in this is done. Time to head back to the sisters. Excuse me, are you the ones who freed us? Aye, was there something else we could do for you, miss? The Maelstrom Swades will take you home, if that's what you're worried about. Oh no, I just wanted to thank you. If I may, there was one other thing I wish to tell you. Moments before you rescued me, that dreadful pirate was muttering into his cups. It was something about another raiding party that hadn't made it back. No, I beg your pardon. It seems that they've been hunting for slaves in western Noscea, and being so close to Airport, our captor assumed they were out rounding up chattel until last bell. I just couldn't bear the thought of anyone else suffering as I have. Please, is there naught you can do? There certainly is, miss. You just get yourself safely home and leave the stray pack of jackals to us. I will pray for your success. Thank you again. So much for savouring a victory pint. I'll send word of this development to Underfoot and Stray. We've some well-earned trade for the last of these jolly merchants. By the by, how's your throwing arm, Mithrie? I think it's time you learn how to fling a proper blade. When you're out in the wide open roughlands, you often find the need to sting a cove from a distance. And I'm sure a canny lass like yourself will figure all sorts of uses for a well-thrown dagger. Just keep in mind for when we hunt down the rest of them slavers. Cool, so let's complete the quest and get the ability throwing daggers. Cool. So that's that. But now he has another quest, so let's see what we have to do next. So the next quest is called Slave to the Code. We'll get the ability Mug. So it says, delivers an attack with potency 140, increases the amount of items dropped by the target if Mug is dealt before or as the finishing blow. Cool. Awesome. So there's two abilities. So two quests. So Jacke is determined to track down the remnants of the Jolly Merchants. So those last few jolly bastards must be camped out somewhere in western Noscea. Now if I was black-blooded, guild-grabbing slaver, where would I be hiding? It's not to the west but the Sahagin pools. Even the bollocks for brains pirates know better than to trespass on fishback territory. And they won't want to chance running into patrols near Aleport, so that just leaves us east. The Flock. Aye, that'll be their likely nestling ground in the ruins out there amongst the dodos. That's where we'll pick up their trail. You head over and snitchel the place while I send word to the Sisters of the Maelstrom. Cool, so I have to go here. So I guess they have made these class quests a lot more interesting, which is, I figured that they would, that's why I've actually decided to record these. All the class stories are really interesting, to be honest. So, almost there. But we'll need to be careful, make sure that we don't aggro like 50 people at once. There's a fate down there. Ah, so there's a fight. So it says, duty calls, commence battle for Slave to the Code. It's a level 19 fight, so might be a challenge. So, thank you for freeing us. We've been tied up here since those awful pirates snatched us from our beds. Those are some interesting looking dodos you've got there, Mithrie. No sign of the merchants though, eh? The leader mentioned heading over to Aleport. He said something about there being no signal, and that was a signal that something was wrong. They just left us hobbled here like lambs for the market. One of them japped about keeping the meat unsullied in case there was trouble. Pray let us flee this place before they return. And who are you to just be sliding in and set loose our hard-won prizes, Twas the damnest thing. We offer crew lodging in Aleport, and then there's one of them survived the night. done in by a couple of sneaky curs what favoured the short blades, they say. I'm supposing that was the two of you. Seems you've a bone to pick with our choice of trade. I can't say I've had much use for slavers, except as a place to bury me knives. Oh, and I wouldn't bother yourself with waiting for your ship to come back neither. The jolly merchants are done for. You might have that right. Sorry, you might have the right of it, lad. But then you wouldn't know the kind of coined free elfie slavers like them will bring us. I'll have a new ship and a new crew afore a single moon has passed. You hear that, chattel? You're each worth a shining bloody fortune, and you've me to thank for helping you learn your true worth. Ignore this bleeding sod. In fact, why don't you step back a ways? Those coves are about to learn the consequences of breaking the code, and the discussion is likely to get messy. Did you not think we'd come for you? You can try and stifle your victim's screams in the darklands, but the shadows are always listening. Okay, so I have to stay away from these. Ah, that's what the throwing knives are. If they get anywhere near you. They want you to learn to use your new abilities. Okay, so that's the trick. It's like use your throwing weapons to kill those dodos, otherwise they'll kill you really quickly. So, thank you. I shudder to think what horrid fate awaited us, had you not helped us to escape. I knew someone would come. You're just like the heroes in the stories. They always arrive at the perfect time and triumph over the villains. Do you think I could be a hero like you? I know I could be brave and strong too, I just know it. You don't want to be like me, lad. Listen now, me and those coves there, they're the ones what the scary folk are afraid of, and that's cause we keep the rules of the world they live in. We don't much care if you shirk your chores or get into fight. But if you ever break the code and betray your mates, then that's when we'll come after you, no matter how far you run or how well you hide. You live your life like a hero you want to be, though you'll never need worry about that. Aye, you two can stubble it and all. I assume you are the citizens who were abducted by the Jolly Merchants. I am Captain Malley of the Yellow Jackets. Maelstrom Command has entrusted me with conducting you to safety. It's alright, lad. These folks will take care of you. Go on. You best not get left behind. Was it all else, Captain? Word of a new job? A job from me for you? How patently absurd. Why, I'd rather hire a sewer rat to mine my larder. She sounds nice. Was it during one of your jobs that you turned Aleport into a slaughterhouse? What dark age is this that we must employ assassins to enforce the law? If this is continued... No, sorry, if it is this continued alliance with underworld miscreants such as you that prevents Lominsa from ever fully expunging the stain of practical infection. Look at these weapons you bear. A civilized person uses such implements to carve meat or peel fruit, and leaves them at a table where they belong. Do you perhaps clench them twixt your teeth as you swing over rails like the pirates you hunt? Our fair city has no place for those who refuse to abandon the brutish ways of the past. The only champions of justice this nation requires are valiant and forthright soldiers of the Yellow Jackets. Jacke, what the bloody hell does this cult want with us? I have not the foggiest idea, love. Just smile and nod. I'm not come here to be patronized. I've come to put a decisive end to piracy in all its forms. Consider this visit a gauntlet thrown at the collective feet of the Rogues Guild. Heed well my words. Just before dawn this very morn, a maelstrom vessel stocked with provisions was boarded and looted by pirates. Much of the cargo was stolen, and that is vexing indeed, but it is the theft of 3 items in particular, 3 unique treasures of nigh incalculable worth, that must distresses my martial colleagues. As for the brigands, they made well their escape, disappearing into the dawn's mist along their precious plunder. Rumtail, what's it to do with us? I challenge you, a contest to reclaim these stolen treasures. Should my Yellow Jackets and I succeed retrieving the greater share, I shall formally propose the oblation of the Rogues Guild. Upon review of our achievements, the Admiral will surely concede that your unscrupulous institution has outlived its usefulness. Blow it out of your wattle. I've better ways to spend me time. Oh, do you now? This incident constitutes a theft against the nation of Lominsa. Does that not violate your beloved code? If I'm not mistaken, you've no choice but to rise to the occasion, unless of course you mean to slink back into your hole and abandon the fundamental precepts of your duty. Alright, you screeching shrew. You've made your bloody point, and you'll be sorry that you did, I promise you that. Your partly promises amount to naught in the face of my conviction. I shall not rest until Limsa is free of every last buccaneer, scoundrel, and shadow-dwelling ne'er-do-well. What now, Jackie? For right now, we head back to the sisters. Cool. Someone else who failed there. So we have to go back to the Rogues Guild. So these quests are taking a surprisingly long time to finish, that's for sure, especially given it's only a level 15 quest. Okay, here's Jacke. So, for a weird lass, that Millie has got some bollocks. And it seems she's well done with what was or pirate stock. I don't take kindly to calls pulling me strings, but the shrew is right. The code's been broken and we've a job to do. For the sounds of it, though, them codes knew what they were about when they ployed them treasures. I'll need you at your best. It's time you learned the art of mugging. Rough up a coal in just the right way, and he'll give up more than what you'd get if you just plain knocked him on his ass. Me and me lads will be busy wielding the story of them biting bales, so you're free to head off and sharpen your skill. Might even be as you'll pocket some extra blunt while you're at it, eh? Okay, so I'm gonna get mug and some random item. Whatever, I can just craft better stuff. Mug, there you go. So where shall I put mug? Put it there for now. So yeah, so next quest will be at level 20. So for now, to get from level 15 to 20, I'm probably going to just do Battlecraft Leaves and Guild Hess and the hunting log and so on, just to keep the momentum going. And yeah, so I'm not going to overly rely on dungeons just because the queues are kind of long. So it's important not to stand still. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, goodbye from Mithrie.